This year, our XTO speaker will be XTO President Staale Gjervik, and just got to talk to him backstage. I think you're going to enjoy this. Mr. Gjervik has been with ExxonMobil affiliates since 1998. So if you will, let's welcome him on stage. Staale Gjervik.
That is the very best pronunciation I've ever heard about my name. I can tell you that. You got Norwegian family there, Danny, or? Thank you, Danny. Thank you all, and good morning. I know the mayor is running a tough show here, so you've had no breaks. So I'll try and be efficient here. But good morning to you all. It's truly a pleasure to be here. I've been here many times. Was not here at the event last year, but I'm getting the sense that this keeps on growing, which is great. Probably growing together with the rest of the basin. So you can only imagine, based on the presentations you've heard so far this morning, where this may take us one day. So as you can tell from my accent, sometimes I say I'm from just south of Carlsbad, but normally it doesn't work. So you know, I am from Norway, from Bergen, west coast of Norway, which is about 5,000 miles away. One thing I do like coming out here is it does have mountains out here, and it does have the river. I live in Houston. Anybody knows what they don't have in Houston? Mountains. There is a couple of rivers. I don't know if I would call them rivers though, but anyway, so love coming out here. Also really love the spirit, the community spirit here out here. The kind of whole family spirit. You know, we've only been around actually for a couple of 3 years out here, but feel really good how we've been invited in to the local community here, and just really glad we can contribute, and we will continue to do so as we grow our business. So I've spent the majority of my career actually living abroad, and really at the center of operation as close to the wellhead as I could get, which is also why kind of this year's theme means a lot to me, you know, being a salute to our workforce. I do firmly believe our people need to be close to the wellhead and live in the surrounding communities. I've done this around the globe. I have the pleasure of working in the UK, in West Africa, in Nigeria, and Angola, several places in the US, and actually got, on my 22 years with the company, I got Norway is the country I worked the least in. So, but really enjoyed kind of working close to the wellhead, and clearly no better way to kind of understand and address the uniqueness and the needs of the communities where we operate than to live there, obviously. To date, we have about 900 employees in the Permian Basin. About 180 of those are working in New Mexico, and we have plans to grow, really big plans. And last night I had the pleasure accepting an award on behalf of XTO from Mayor Janeway for the support that we provided to projects near and dear to this community, as well as our participation in energy education efforts like this summit here today. So really grateful to be recognized by the mayor and this community. And as I said, we've only been active in this area for a couple of years, and the reception has just been incredible. To make the most of our time here today, I'd like to really speak about 3 different things. I'll give you a quick update, no slides, but I'll give you a quick update on our current operation, and then I'll provide a bit of a summary of the ways we are working to ensure our operation are conducted in a safe, environmentally responsible manner. And finally, I'll hone in on the direct benefits of our operation to the people of New Mexico, and how we can work together to overcome some of the challenges that we heard a little bit today, but I'll try and expand on those. So let's kind of get started on those. As everyone here today knows, we're in a period of extraordinary transformation, and you heard some of that earlier from Gail. But the shale oil and gas boom has the opportunity, and many will probably claim is already really transform the global market. And Carlsbad is where? It's really in the center of that transformation. U.S. has become the largest producer of oil and gas, as you saw earlier, and this has provided basically the nation with economic growth, increased employment, and reduced kind of energy imports. Permian Basin really allows us as a company to connect high-value Permian crude demand basically directly to our Gulf Center kind of demand centers. Really for us, Baytown and Beaumont, which we have very large integrated complexes, and we employ basically a manufacturing mindset to optimize the value of the development here, and also we are progressing multiple kind of infrastructure projects outside the Permian that links back and support what we do here in the basin. We hold about 1.8 million acres in the Permian, and we got a resource base of about 10 billion oil equivalent barrels, and we have a well inventory that is close to 10,000 wells, which equates to 800 plus rig years, which just puts it all in perspective. Today we are running about 55 rigs in the Permian. We have 12 frac crews. Our average production is closing in on 300,000 oil equivalent barrels per day, which is an increase of more than 20% since last year. And across the Permian, we have a lot of crews, a lot of teams working. We are working, as I said, 55 rigs. We have something like 40 different construction sites in the Permian, working on tank batteries, processing facilities, compression, gathering lines, and so forth. To do that, we employ almost 10,000 people right now in the Permian, which kind of gives you a sense for scale. Now, we are focused on growth. We're also focused on really establishing a long-term operation in the Permian. That's what we always tend to do around the world. Which brings me to my second point, which our objective of consistently conducting the operation in a safe and environmentally responsible manner, which I think for many kind of goes without saying, but also an area we have work to do. So how are we achieving this objective? 2017, we implemented kind of methane management program to mitigate emissions. We basically adopted new standards at our new facilities to allow greater methane capture. For example, here in the Delaware Basin, we've installed low emissions tank batteries where we use compressed air instead of natural gas to operate pneumatic devices, which basically helps, regulate conditions such as level, flow, temperature, and so forth. Since we've initiated our voluntary methane management program, we have reduced methane emission across our operations, not only here in the Permian, but the rest of the US and in Canada and Argentina. We conducted more than 19,000 surveys since then, on more than 4.6 million equipment components at almost 9,000 unconventional production sites. That's resulted in about a 50% reductions in observed leak rate across our operation. Also back in 2017, we voluntarily began a 3-year plan to basically phase out these high bleed pneumatics from our operations. High bleed pneumatic devices, basically valves to periodically vent pressure that's built up in order to maintain the safety and integrity and efficient operation. And I'm pleased to tell you that we replaced nearly all of our devices across our US operation well ahead of schedule. Last month, we actually began a pilot field study to identify innovative, commercially viable methane detection technologies to more efficiently locate leaks. Our hope is to identify basically economic options that will accelerate the broader deployment of these emerging technologies throughout the industry, which is very important. We operate about 45,000 wells in the US today. And obviously with the pace we're growing in the Permian, we're adding hundreds of wells a year and many, many well locations every year. So the efficiency of that monitoring is very critical. Look forward to very much work jointly with the state of New Mexico, our industry partners here today, and the public to develop basically statewide enforceable regulatory framework to reduce methane emissions from new and existing sources. We have for a long time advocated for a cost-effective federal and state regulatory standards because we believe it's the right thing to do. The benefits we see from methane mitigations are really most successful when all the industry is in it together. As I mentioned earlier, we are focused on safe and sustainable operation. As mentioned earlier, we have almost 10,000 people currently working in the Permian, which is a growth of more than 80% year on year. And while our workforce has grown significantly, we've been working hard to basically improve safety. At XTO, we truly believe there is both a moral and a business imperative to operate safely. Our first and foremost responsibility is to protect the lives of our employees, our contractors, and the public at large. We are relentlessly focused on joint safety training and planning. We've developed new tools and programs geared towards really building awareness and accountability among our workforce. One of the earlier presenters talked about, fairly inexperienced workforce and how do we build that experience quickly, in the months and years ahead. We developed a mindset that safety is basically not a priority, but it truly is a value. And we share our best practices with others in the industry. As a result, we are seeing improvements, which is great, in both the numbers of high severity kind of incidents, as well as lost time incident rates. But there's still more work to do. We believe it is possible to supply, energy to the world while also protecting the people and the environment. Nothing is more important to me and to our company than making sure everybody goes home safe to their families at the end of the day. And when that comes to family, I think we can all agree that one of the primary motivators for getting up every morning and going to work is to provide for our families. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. I know that's a big motivator for me and a big motivator for us at XTO. And especially since our success basically translates into tangible benefits for many of New Mexico families. And those benefits are pretty significant. How significant? A couple of months ago, I was actually here in Carlsbad and spent some time with the mayor and also met with the governor, Lujan Grisham, and her staff. And in those meetings, we basically shared what our development plan, will deliver, here locally and to the state. We estimate, based on our development plan, it will generate about $64 billion in net economic benefits for the state and the local communities over the next 4 decades, creating basically thousands of new jobs and providing millions in increased funding for education, health, human services, and infrastructure improvements. Southeastern New Mexico communities where we operate will receive an estimated $1.8 billion in net tax revenues. We basically estimate our activities will contribute an annual, 4,100 direct job opportunities over the next 4 decades. Our operation is expected to generate more than $29 billion in new wages, salaries, and benefits. The benefits to the state's bottom line from our investments are enormous. The additional tax revenues will bring the following to the state, and I just want to give you a few examples to kind of illustrate. $6 billion for higher education, enough to pay college tuition for more than 827,000 students. $10 billion for health and human services, which equals the salary of more than 146,000 nurses. $18 billion in New Mexico public schools, which is salary for more than 309,000 elementary school teachers. And $6 billion for other government services, which is almost equal to the entire 2008 state budget. In order to basically deliver these benefits, it requires all basically to work together to manage this growth. I know the mayor is committed. I know the Eddy and Lee county leaders are committed, and the Governor Grisham and her staff is committed, and I can assure you XTO is committed. Now, more than ever, we need to work together, as mentioned, to make the benefits a reality. Industry is facing challenges in permitting and siting new infrastructure, as well as maintaining its social license to operate. A great deal is at stake in getting the balance right, not just here in New Mexico, but throughout the nation. If new infrastructure is not built and existing infrastructure is not maintained, American people will miss the opportunity for future economic development, job creation, national security, and reliable and affordable energy. In recent years, the vast majority of energy infrastructure projects has been successfully completed. However, there's been a rising level of opposition against permitting and siting of new and modified infrastructure. A recent U.S. Chamber of Commerce study found that completing environmental reviews in the U.S. for major infrastructure projects can take 4 to 5 years on average. Global economic competitors around the world, and as an example, Germany and Australia, are completing environmental permitting reviews in less than 2 years, while providing basically environmental protection equaling or even exceeding those that we have here in the U.S. To deliver economic, societal benefits, I spoke of earlier, the U.S. oil and gas transportation infrastructure must be maintained and must be expanded. The economies of the state of New Mexico and the U.S. can benefit even further from increase through export of energy. But we need our infrastructure system working together, which means pipeline, trucking, railing, and even on the marine side, with storage to enable the delivery of affordable energy to global markets. We understand that the success of our business and the building of additional infrastructure relies upon continuous stakeholder engagement. We understand that in order to get New Mexico's natural resource to market, we must be good stewards and good corporate citizens, because it's you who provides us with your social license to operate. Our goal is to create long-term partnership to not only meet our company's goal, but to meet the community's goal in a collaborative manner. How we operate, how we communicate, and how we handle your concerns and issues are important. We will work hard to engage with you on issues of concern. We will demonstrate our excellence in safety and environmental performance, and we will continue to deliver economic benefits to Lee and Eddy County, to the state of New Mexico, and to the U.S. There is tremendous value in long-term mutual beneficial partnership, which provides basically the foundation for growth and contribute to shared success. In closing, let me leave you with a couple of things. XTO is excited to be here in Carlsbad and Southeast New Mexico, and we are very proud to be living and working in a community where people band together to support one another and make life in a community and make life better for current and future generations. And we really look forward to working with the community to ensure that this area benefits from oil and gas development in the region. Our employees live here and the children go to school here, and we are very much committed in doing our work safely and responsibly. So I thank you for your time and welcoming us to be part of your thriving community going forward. Thank you.